Yeah.
Yo, what is going on, guys? C4RQ, holding the podcast. Before I say anything, actually, read the thing at the bottom, please. It's scrolling in reds. Can't miss it. No spoilers. It's like crazy timing. But yeah, no spoilers. Don't want to hear about what you saw on a case of a game in terms of stages or characters. Please. For us, some of us haven't seen the leaks, and obviously the chat as well. Don't spoil it for them. But yeah, Foundation, it's a podcast I'm trying to start up for just tag games in general, to be fair. But Tokon, I am a massive Marvel fan, so I'm going to start with Tokon. Probably do Invincibles or something down the line. But I have been blessed with some sick guests today. I was saying off camera, I'm so surprised that the first three people I asked all said yes, and we all got here on a single day without like trying to figure out calendar times and all that. It was pretty smooth. But yeah, I'm going to basically be the host, talk about these 3 points in regards to Tokon, and these three wonderful people are going to be doing all the talking. So we'll start from the top. SSK, let the people know what you're about and who you are.
What's going on, everybody? Of course, I am SSK. I am a YouTuber who specifically does Marvel Tokon content at the moment. Every week I drop, whether it's an essay video, I do like guides, fun videos, different topics for Tokon at the moment. Rising up right now, we're doing a thing. Also competitive fighting game player, video game journalist. I do stuff for IGN as well. So if you want to tap into me, be sure to stay tuned in the stream, get my socials, and yeah.
Cool. And then next, BSG. What's going on, my dude?
Yeah. So I'm Blue Sky guy. Right now I'm a competitive Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising player. I've traveled a bunch competing in the game, gotten a few top 8s here and there, and I'm looking to start competing in Tokon once the game comes out. So I'm really excited.
Do you want to tell the people how well you did in the TNS tournament?
Oh yeah, I mean in the first Tokon TNS, not the most recent, but the first one, I had gotten 9th. I had lost to K7 and SQ. I think both 2-1, and then in this most recent Tokon TNS, I had gotten 3rd, losing to 1st and 2nd place.
So no stranger to a high level play so far.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, and then last but not least, Mr. Zeno, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. As you heard, my name is Zeno. Thank you for having me on this podcast. I am a VTuber who likes to focus on fighting game and anything Marvel related. So I've been doing a lot of Marvel Rivals stuff and like involving skits. And once Tokon was announced, I got super invested. I've been playing fighting games for a decent chunk of my life, and I grew up on Marvel versus Capcom. So obviously, this game is like right up my alley, and I've been very excited to cover anything and everything that I can find on the online or be told to inform people on this game, because I'm just genuinely excited for how it's developing, and I'm very much looking forward to launch day.
666. So yeah, these are the 3 people that are going to take you through these 3 topics that at the moment I think are kind of important to talk about in terms of, you know, where and how Tokon's going to land in August. I think it's like beginning of August. Yeah, beginning of August. And then, which is going to be sick. I'm going to try and go there. CEO is basically doing their tournament a week after. And I think tournaments, the first tournament for a game are normally the most interesting. I think that's where you learn the most, but sometimes isn't cool to watch. It's very scrappy because people are like developing their tech. But I'm here to see hands thrown. So yeah, CEO, that's going to be the week after the game comes out. Gonna try and go there. But until then, we've got a lot of speculating to do. To a degree, to be fair, because the devs are being very communicative about the game. But that's the last topic. Let's not go there. Let's kick it off with a kind of question to get to know each other. So the first one, we'll do it from bottom to top this time. One character that you want to see in the game and one character you think is going to 100% be in the game. My pick is I want Silver Surfer. He hasn't been in the game. I don't really like puppet characters, but I think it would be cool if Silver Surfer could use his surfboard as a puppet. I think that would be cool. I don't know how to do the power cosmic, but being able to fly around and be like a mobile Eddie would be cool. And I think for sure Daredevil's going to be in the game, only because you see Matt Murdock in the stage, and he looks like the sprite that Storm is, or that Storm has on the X Mansion. So I think when you pick Daredevil, Matt Murdock won't be behind the glass. So they're my two picks. But yeah, Zeno, I know you've been looking deep into the game. You've noticed stuff that I haven't noticed, and I was really tired about that because I thought I had a keen eye. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what you've got to say.
So in terms of characters I would want to see, this one is kind of familiar for some, but it's pretty common. Hero, actually not hero. So Dr. Octopus is what I would want to see in this game. I think Doc Ock has not been utilized in a lot of games, especially fighting games, a criminal amount. I feel his entire kit is just ripe for the taking in a fighting game. He has, long range attacks, even maybe command grabs. A lot of people will know that if you played Marvel 3, he was quite literally super, super close to being in Marvel 3. He was in the game, but unfortunately, due to IRL events, was taken out, so we never got to see him. So he already was about to have his chance, and it was ripped away from him. So I would want to see that come back. For a character that I would want to show up, this was I'm cheating a little bit, but I just put down like a generalized, I want a symbiote in this game, or like at least I will know that there is going to be a symbiote in this game. Whether or not it's the traditional Venom it's a little unknown, right? Because they did talk about how they didn't want to sort of repeat characters if they could help it. So they could still have like a symbiote character like a Venom, but maybe it's, a different take on it. Maybe it's Carnage, or maybe it's Flash Thompson, Agent Venom, or maybe it's like anti-Venom, like those kind of like workarounds.
Yeah. I played Venom in MVCI. I play him NPC too. I really want Venom, but I didn't want to jinx it by asking for him. But I'll be happy with Agent Venom. That would be cool. Agent Venom. Blue Sky, what's your thoughts?
Well, the character that I definitely want to see the most in this game is definitely Moon Knight. After his appearance in Marvel Rivals, I think he could be a really sick all rounder with both the batons and I guess his. I guess Moonerangs. I don't know what they would really be called, but and him also, I guess, having like 3 personalities. I could see something of a stance character as well with them, which would be really nice to see. And then I would say for the character that I can guarantee will probably be in the game, will probably be Hulk. The game does not have a traditional big body yet, and that's probably the character that they're going to shoot for as that token character.
I was having a conversation with shouts to Chrome, I think he's in chat. I said the exact same thing about Moon Knight, by the way. I said it feels a bit weird, but yeah, having different personalities, being different stances, kind of writes itself.
Yeah.
But with Hulk, I was saying, do they go for the whole like new generation and pick a different? They don't pick Bruce Banner, basically. Do you think they'll pick like Amadeus Cho or something crazy like that, or do you think it'll be back to Banner?
I feel like they could play it safe because we have Steve Rogers, we have Tony Stark. I think that would be their best fit for the Avengers, and if not Hulk, it'd probably be Thor for another grappler-esque character.
Yeah, fair. It feels weird not having a Marvel game with Hulk in it, but
yeah,
hopefully they do something unique with him like they did with Wolverine. That character archetype is completely different now, which I think they could do with Hulk. I think I was saying something maybe like the more damage he takes, the more damage he dishes out to kind of play into the fact that the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets.
Yeah, I could say that.
Yeah, something like that would be cool. But SSK, what are your thoughts? I saw your video and you had the whole like board with red string planned out for every character. I watched it and I was like, you know what? I think you're onto something. So I kind of copied it a little bit. But yeah, one character that you want to have and one character that you think is for sure going to be in the game.
Okay, so I will say that video, I definitely like, I did my best with a lot of factors, right? Now, in terms of a character that I would want to see in the game, is actually not in that video, funny enough.
Okay.
And I actually think the character I really want to see in Tokon and this is like a huge like deep cut for me and for maybe some people who might not be too tapped in. Howard the Duck. I let me tell you something.
Okay.
Everybody when they so when they dropped like the lobby avatar for Howard the Duck in the trailer, I lost my mind. I wish I recorded my reaction to that because I went insane. I grew up watching the 80s movie on VHS so many times. That's one of my favorite movies.
Damn.
Big fan of that character. I think Howard has like really good potential to be like a tactical kind of fighter in that game with like so many bombs and guns and stuff that he can do. He's also just a character that has been on the rise recently. In general, he's had a lot of like, Howard the Duck, unfortunately, with that 80s movie, a lot of his popularity went downhill due to how bad the movie went. And so it's been years since they brought him back. But since Guardians of the Galaxy with the cameos and the Marvel What If series and even a couple of comics that came out recently, he's been coming back into the limelight for a lot of people. So I think Togan would be a great way for him to be in the game. So that is a character that I would love to see. Now, in terms of who I think is going to be in base roster for sure, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Blade is going to be in this base roster. I think
okay.
Blade is going to be in this base roster. And I only say that because when I think about the Ghost Rider team leader, the Ghost Rider as a team leader, it has to be Midnight Suns. It has to be Midnight Suns. It just has to be. So and Blade, I'm pretty sure, has been in Midnight Suns in every iteration of that team. So Blade has to be in there. And to be honest with you, this is like the best time to do it because like I could see people saying he would be DLC, but you would want to have some strong picks in base roster as well. And Blade is a character that people have been begging to be released in the Marvel fighting game for years at this point. So I think this is like gonna be a base roster pick.
I think it's the safe. I don't know. I didn't pick Blade because I kind of don't want him. It's a tough one. I think Blade's cool. I just think Deadpool's going to get into the game eventually. And Deadpool kind of just does what Blade does, minus the vampire stuff. I'm not anti-Blade, but I would prefer someone like Luke Cage. But that would have to go into...
Yeah.
That would have to go into my theory of, I think Doctor Doom's team is about people that are protecting a realm or a country or whatever. And then Luke is the president of... I think, is he a president? No, he's the mayor. Sorry, he's the mayor. But yeah, anyway... Howard the Duck, you might be the only person on the planet that's asked for that character. I'm not mad at it, though. I'm not mad. But out of all the animal characters, Howard the Duck was...
Yeah.
I remember
I am forever Howard's number one defender.
I respect it. There's always like one... I think other than the Thing, I think Thing is the only other character I think that nobody's asking for the Thing. Respectfully. Ben Grimm's cool, but as a fighting game character, the Thing is kind of like... Just give me hope, bro. Like,
yeah, because like I said this to a lot of people. I feel like the thing with the Fantastic Four is that they're definitely just gonna be like a Ginyu Force style team. They're probably all gonna be like doing in their move sets. Rita's probably gonna be the main character you use, and they're all just gonna be the same moveset. Because I don't really see them separating all the characters like that. Because there are people who are genuinely fans of Johnny Storm, genuine fans of Thing, Susan, right? So I don't see them kind of like separating those characters like that. They'll probably make them all one character. Like Lil Wayne too, right? With like all the bros and stuff.
Yeah. This goes on to the thing that we wanted to add on into the conversation. I remember seeing the 4 characters and going, I don't think they're going to do each individual Fantastic Four member. It makes sense to have Fantastic Four and the stage being the Baxter Building. That obviously makes sense. But I think what would be more interesting is if you have sort of like an Injustice Turtle thing where you could switch between 2 with 1 pick. So if you pick Reed, you get Sue. If you pick Johnny, you get Thing or Ben. And then you can swap in between the 2 characters.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
I feel waiting a whole year, this is something you were saying, Zeno, and I'll pass it to you in a second. Waiting a whole year for a whole team seems painful if you're really into the Fantastic Four. So yeah, I guess we can all put our spins on what do we think about the Fantastic Four, because it would be a miss if the Fantastic Four isn't in a 4v4 versus game, and who else could be in the DLC bundle. I really want the Inhumans, but their stocks have not been high for a hot minute. Yeah, I know. But Miss Marvel Kamala is half inhuman, so I'm praying. I am praying that they bring Black Bolt. But yeah, sorry, go Zeno. What do you think?
Well, in your case, you're actually at least a little bit on the up and up, because on the New York stage they do tease Lockheed on the New York stage. So the Inhumans do exist in Tokon, in the Tokon universe. Whether or not they're going to show up either on launch or as that DLC pack, it remains to be seen yet. But you at least have a shot. You have an in-game shot, so you know you're on the right track now. As for unfortunately the character pass, it hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the 4 characters only, and then I got over it because I saw the Spider-Man skin, which is a whole nother can of worms with that DLC stuff. But I think the smartest thing that they can do is not, like you said, or like a lot of people have said, is not restrict the entire pass to a singular team, because at that point, if the first character we find out it's Reed, and it's only Reed, then we kind of can already tell they're gonna want to sell you the entire Fantastic Four. You don't want to play a Marvel game that's a 4v4 just as Mr. Fantastic, and then the next person is like a different member altogether, right? So it's either you do that, or the quote unquote the smarter option is you have to make it so that every character on that pass is a unique character, whether it's additions to the team that already exists in the game with the 5 different leaders that we're getting. As we already know, we only have 1 confirmed so far, which is the Unbreakable X-Men. But we could also maybe they start their own, right? Maybe it's not filling it out, but they kind of can be placed in different teams to fill different roles. And then over time, those passes can build up to their own unique team. But I just locking an entire year wait, people are not going to like that, right? And Tokon is in a very interesting space, which we'll get into at some point. But I really don't think it's the move.
Yeah, I think I agree. Blue Sky, what do you think?
Yeah, for a 4-character pass for, like you said, a 4v4 fighting game that starts with 20 characters already feels kind of iffy. Just because, like, you would expect, at least with how Dragon Ball Fighters did it, they were releasing characters in packs. Like, first DLC, we got Broly and Bardock. Second one was, I think it was Zamasu Gogeta. It's like they were releasing characters super quickly, and that felt really good in a game like Dragon Ball with so many characters. And then with an IP like Marvel, you have so much to work with. 4 characters seems like we're kind of getting skimmed out on some stuff.
Yeah. SSK, have you got any insights? Have you got? I want you to go back to your board with the red string. Have we missed anything?
So I'll say this, right? I'm also just like BSG. I competed in Grand Blue as well. I'm like pretty experienced with like Arx's kind of like style in terms of how they drop characters, how they wait for patches to come out and stuff like that, right? And I think that like 4 characters, obviously this is a 4v4 game, it's a team game, 20 characters at launch supposedly. I can understand a lot of the frustration people will have with like 4 characters a year. My thing about it is that I think it's also worth noting that I think they went on to mention that developing a character takes about a year. Let's also say this: they are probably already done with Season Pass 1 right now. So they probably are gonna make this Season Pass 1 maybe a little faster compared to like the other ones, because they might drop it at a faster rate because they're probably on like the last character at this point. But I think a lot of this, in terms of 4 characters a year, in terms of like the season 1 of the game, would depend on what they drop in between characters, right? So if they drop costumes, if they drop battle passes, in-game events and stuff like that, right? Stuff to kind of keep people engaged while the game is still being played. I think that would be great, obviously, from a casual perspective. And if you're, even if you're a competitive player, you enjoy that stuff as well. And also if the game balance is fine, right? Because let's be real, like speaking from a perspective as a ex-Fighters player and then Grand Blue player, There's been times where we had some patches that we had to live with for months and months and months, and they have not updated the game, no new characters, and it can feel really daunting. So and ArcSys is the kind of developer that they like to really wait a while before they do anything to kind of gauge the meta before they drop a character and a big balance patch. Now, Grand Blue has been kind of weird with that recently, but I'm sure with Tokon they might actually have a better mentality with this kind of thing. So it's one of those things where we'll just have to see how it all is. Like they said, like how their schedule is for Arc World Tour, how their schedule is for any other pro tour they might be having with the game. I don't know what Sony is gonna do, and Marvel might have some big thing. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But so far, I think I'm very confident that they'll have a really nice plan for the game.
Yeah, I remember I was speaking to some of my mates about how so far it's kind of gone over my expectations because there's 3 companies on this. Like you was mentioning, Disney/Marvel, Sony, and ArcSys. And to get all 3 of them to agree on one thing seems like near and impossible. But so far, the communication has been insane. Like there was a bit of a drought where we got like no content. I'm not sure why. But I think what's happening is ArcSys are kind of like teaching or showing Sony and Marvel the FGC. I think a lot of the things that was in the game was Sony's idea to be like, oh, casuals, right? Cool. And ArcSys went, okay, we're going to push this beta out, then you're going to get feedback, and then you're going to see where we're coming from. So I think together, all 3 of them can make a really strong game for the tryhards and the casual players. So, but for the DLC, I'm hoping it really depends on how they do this whole team aspect. I'm assuming ArcSys love their convoluted stuff. Like, I'm assuming that they're going to do like characters that can fit into different teams. So I think there's going to be a time where Magic can be an Unbreakable X-Men and she can be on the Midnight Suns. I'm thinking, but that might be a long-term thing. Maybe long-term. And the 4 characters that they drop, they won't be a team, but they'll slot into the other teams, which makes it unbalanced because there's 5 teams and there's only 4 characters. I played MVCI. My eyes have adjusted to unbalanced roster sides. So I don't know if they're gonna plan to do that, but I don't know. Either way, I'm looking forward to see how they square that circle. It's ArcSys; they always find a way to do it. Going on to the next point, we are going to talk about the changes that they dropped. I think this was the huge turning point. To be an Omega token glazer, since that tweet, I've not seen anyone talk smack about the game. Everyone's like, they're listening. GG's. Yeah. Which is good, right? Some of the changes, I'm like, I don't know if you needed to do that, but you know what? It's keeping people happy, and I think that's more important before the game comes out. But no negative Nancy stuff. We're going to talk about the changes that we did like. So one of the changes that I liked, but it might make another problem, is the supers not breaking the wall. I think, even though I think their reasoning was about the pace of the game slowing down, which I can understand, but I kind of like autonomy in my pressure. And I didn't like the fact that literally half of my special moves and my supers and my throws break the wall. At least now I can dump some meter and keep you in the corner, because that might be more beneficial to me. If I'm a zoner, I probably want to keep you in the corner, because then I can back away and your back's at the wall. Where if I break the wall, you have room to move back. So yeah, I like that there's ways to now manipulate how I want to apply pressure. So I really like that change, even though it's a really small one. Now with the hard knockdown, so it's like Strive where you get advantage, I really don't want back throw. I don't want to get a back throw incident into my turn.
That would be so hilarious. You miss a meeting, you get back thrown. It's a hard knockdown.
So yeah.
We'll say that for later, though.
Yeah, because that is kind of a result of a change. which kind of ties into the super one. But yeah, that's something else. I might tweet about that later. I don't like that, but I do like supers not breaking walls. So we'll start from, you know what? Let's start from the middle this time to give Blue Sky the first say for the one time. Blue Sky, what was one of the changes that you actually liked?
Okay. The best thing, the best thing that I saw from the whole, like, I guess, gameplay overhaul was how tag works. The first thing with tag, they reduced it to 20 frames total, I'm pretty sure, instead of the 30. So half a second long, you watch that tag in animation. It's like, oh, they're switching characters. It definitely just like felt like a huge like pause in the gameplay, just kind of annoying. Slowing that down or speeding it up, I should say, made everything look so much better. And then along with that, how tagging into characters works as well, where when you're tagging into a character, their attacks count as a mid, no matter what move you do. Because playing the game at a high level, if you wanted to find consistent success, you loop unblockable setups, which was you play Spider-Man, you have Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, Star-Lord. Those are the big three I can think of right now that do their overhead move into an assist, into tag, into low, and they're doing an overhead, and you just can't block. You just have to get hit by it and take a million damage. And I'm very happy that they saw that and changed it.
You know what? You might flame me later on. I actually didn't think it was big of a problem. I think crossover. I think maybe, you know what? Hold on. Let me go back. Maybe I've got like cabin fever where I'm used to unblockables. I play a lot of MVCI. So I got, it got beat into me that you defend before, but in this game, you don't have push block. So I would push block before the unblockable came in other Marvel games, right? But in this game, I think crossover is really strong as long as you've got the meter advantage.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to balance. But that's another thing I would like to talk about. It's just like it's not something they'd shown, but there definitely aren't enough defensive options in the game currently, which is a problem they could address later.
Yeah. It feels like crossover is a strong one, but the risk is humongous. Like losing your whole assembly,
insane.
It's too much. It's way too much. I get the idea because technically you couldn't get unblockable with the setup that we was talking about. Like I played Spider-Man Star-Lord, and I would tell everyone I played, I was like, I have to spend an assembly bar to do the unblockable. You spend yours to crossover, and if I haven't got another assembly, I can't stop you. But obviously, as soon as I break the wall, I've got more assembly, so you can't do that anymore. Yeah. So I think there's a cool element to crossover to stop unblockables, but it is a lot of like snowbally. If you're winning more now, which isn't good. So but we can talk about the mid part afterwards. I don't know if that's going to be one of Zeno's favorite things about the change, or is it something else?
It was one, but I have another one just to back up, just in case, because there wasn't too many changes. So I was like, let me have some room to work with. As like familiar with 3v3 just versus fighting games, I love combos, right? I can't get enough of them. So the fact that they actually went in to reduce the combo limit specifically for aerial, they haven't done anything on the ground yet, but I assume they might shift that a little bit in this next beta if people, realize they want longer combos for grounded characters that don't really have too much like flight options or aerial options like Wolverine seemingly might not. Mm-hmm. But the fact that I could play somebody like Storm or Doctor Doom or Iron Man, or even just launch them into the air with a normal combo and have that combo go on for as long as it can now compared to the betas, probably feels like amazing. Just visually looking at it, it looks so cool because now you get to take advantage of a lot of Tokon's mechanics, a lot of people's special moves or EXs. And you can essentially we're slowly getting towards that like combo freedom and combo expression that other tag fighters have and other games have. And it's just really, really nice to see that as we go on, it just keeps evolving, and hopefully it doesn't stop here, right? Like we got to push a little bit more, because I know people have their grievances on how long a combo should be. I know other fighting games currently struggle with this issue where you have like two sides, where there's people like it or not. But I'm personally the fan. As long as the combo is like hype and cool and doesn't like repeat things too many times, I'm down.
Yeah. The meter, I guess it's like a combo limit. When I saw the Storm version, I was like, oh, okay. I kind of like that, but I feel kind of sad that they made a bigger restriction on the air assists. Because now it's like you can do all this stuff in the air, but we can't do air assists, which would have been unique to Tokon. Because there's no other like versus game where you have assists track with you in the air. But I think it's okay because they said there is a way to still get air assists. I think it's when it's at the peak of your jump. I don't know if that applies to double jumps.
Yeah, basically like super jumps. Basically, use them now. And
Right.
like some characters have different peaks of their normal jumps because like Danger's normal jump I think like is kind of high. I think depending on the character from what I saw.
Yeah.
So it basically means that you just got a super jump to get those air assists now, which is fine because they are like diagonal. So you can kind of like if you want to call like a ground assist and like an air assist to super jump, you can like control a little bit of space.
I was heartbroken when I was like, I lost my air Ghost Rider assist. That assist was crazy.
Oh yeah, that assist was really good.
It was
that was a very broken air assist. I think that was like the best air assist in the game.
So honestly,
I didn't want to be ignorant, but I was like, bro, I'm playing Spider-Man. I'm IADing. You're crouching, and you still have to block cross up on the Ghost Rider air assist. But that's gone because now everyone's got, like you said, an air to ground type of assist. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, sorry, SK. What do you think about the changes? Which is your favorite one?
First of all of the changes are fantastic. I think I'm very shocked that they made these changes so quickly. I originally just thought they were going to just take the feedback and then, kind of launch the game and just kind of, over time use this to make changes for the game. Because I mean, the game is going to be supported for 10 years, so I thought this could be more ammo for them. But they actually made these changes so quickly. I'm shocked. Arc System works. Rest of listening, right? Anyway, my favorite change in this is the ability to use neutral assists within your combos. Finally, to be able to cancel into them. I talked about this a lot, and a lot of people talked about this during the bid. I think this was like the biggest feedback people had for the game.
Yeah, probably.
To provide some context for people who are watching who might not understand, Marvel Tokon has, you have 4 assists, right? You have your ground assist, you have your anti-air assist, you have your unique assist, and then you have your air assist. These are all your neutral assists, what I like to call them, because you use them in neutral, you don't cancel into them. Meaning your character has to be in a neutral state. There is also another assist called the Universal Strike Assist, which I call it. The filler assist, some people might call it as well, which is where when you're doing a combo or a block string, that assist will come out. But it will only you cannot use any other assist except for that assist during combos and block strings. And so a lot of people were very mad about that because they wanted to be able to use their other assists during combos and block strings as well, because they felt the game was limiting their potential for other combos and things of that nature. And so now they have basically given players the ability to use their unique assists and their anti-air assists within combos to have a little bit more freedom, right? Because at the end of the day, fighting games are about giving players the freedom to kind of play how they want to play and give them a lot of options. And I really like that change. But what makes it even more better is that during the betas, people found ways to actually use your neutral assist during combos without actually canceling into them, right? Using like walls. Yeah. Shout outs to Renge. Yeah, shout outs to Renge, Dream King Collectibles. I got a shout out to him. He's been doing a lot of stuff on his YouTube. And I think Slash as well found some stuff.
I played
there's
him.
like all really good guys. They using like wall splats to kind of like when your opponent is on that wall splat and you're in a neutral state, you can call like your unique assist to kind of like start a combo as well, like calling Doom Laser or something like that. People also found that as you're jumping in the air, you can actually use your neutral assist as well. So like there were situations where like if you did like a ground combo to your launcher into like a air combo during the peak, not the peak of the jump, but like kind of like the moment you start to jump and you call your assist, you can call your unique assist or anti-air assist.
Yeah, I think you're like in a neutral state when you go for the double jump. There's a timing where you're technically neutral and you're not comboing your opponent, so it gives you the
and yeah, that and the active tag one as well. And I think there's even like a situation where like after you use your universal strike assist, you're in a neutral state as well. So like characters like Spider-Man who has longer ranges can kind of like call a neutral assist after the universal strike assist and then web zip to their opponent and do that kind of thing. And basically what I'm trying to explain through all of this is that you have the option to use these assists during combos and block strings without having to actually use the green meter. It's kind of, I said this to other people, this is exactly the way how Dengeki Bunko works, fighting
Okay.
climax for people who don't know, where in that game you can cancel into your unique assists, but you don't also have to. So there's ways to actually think of situations where you might not want to use your resources, you might want to save them, and you might want to go for a combo that doesn't quite use the green meter. And so that's what I like about this change in particular and why I've been asking for it, because now people can be not just, like use those combos, but people can be a lot more smarter about what combos they want to do here, what combos they want to do there, depending on the state of the match. And yeah, I really like it. I am very curious how this is going to be at higher levels of play though, because it's a 4v4 game, and now that you're having this kind of freedom, it's like I kind of predict it might make the game a little crazier, but I'm down for that. I'm down for that.
One thing I was thinking with that aspect about the ability to do like basically get more freedom and win and what assists you use. I was thinking, I think the variety of teams is going to go up, but the diversity is going to go down because there's just going to be a meta in which assists are the better ones. That's it. Where when you've got everyone with strike assists, it's like, well, I don't have to follow a certain team structure. I can play all the characters I like, and I have the ability to do the same things as everyone else. But now there's just going to be an assist that is better for combos, and people are going to be like, well, yeah, I could pick anyone, but this character is just better. I don't think there's a right answer, honestly. I know and I can understand Lariat assists being very jarring because that's all you can do. But yeah, now you've just created not a problem, but you've created a meta. You've allowed the meta to slip in to team building.
Yeah, and I think that's like funny enough. I think that was quite literally their intention. They didn't want. I guess like they looked at a lot of the way how fighters went, and they didn't want to create a situation where like there was like a really strong meta. So they wanted the universal strike assist to be that way because they didn't want to exactly create situations where like you use this character more than the others. But even then, like despite that, right, there was still clearly stronger assists to use, right? Like I mean, Ghost Rider's and air assist. Ghost Rider's unique assist was also very strong. Ghost Rider everything.
Literally.
Captain America's unique assist, which was basically Android 17's assist. There was a lot of very clear unique assists you wanted to use in different situations, regardless, right? And so now you have that meta now to where like there's gonna be clear characters you're gonna be using, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm very interested in seeing how they apply that now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a team game, so anything can happen.
I was about to say that. I was going to pass it to Zeno and Blue Sky if there's anything you wanted added, but I feel scared for casual players because there's so much. Like even like an avid team/tag fighting game player, you said like 4 assists, and I was like, yeah, that's not including Lariat, and that's not including like which slots your characters are in. Like it's so complicated. I like it. I like this kind of stuff, but for a casual, this might look like way too much work. But what do you, Blue Sky and Zeno, what do you guys think?
So I guess I'll start by saying I think that'll be all right. The way Tokon is, I'd say they did a really good job at making it pretty casual friendly. That's what I'm playing, right? It of course has like not special inputs, but easy inputs for specials. They have that, which is good, and then they also have quick tag, which is also good. But the thing, that's not even what I mean by it being casual friendly. You can more or less just play one character and use 4 characters as an assist if you feel like it, if you so feel like it, and you can still find some enjoyment. But I do feel like at the top of competitive play, switching between your 4 characters is going to be how you want to play the game. It's going to be the most optimal way to play. But casually, I think picking just one character, you have your 3 assists, I think that'll be perfectly fine.
Cool. Zeno, what do you think?
I think we've seen before, especially with Arxis too, we've seen already this kind of example of, as long as your game is designed to be fun and enjoyable, casuals will find their own way to enjoy the game, no matter how maybe difficult new mechanics might be for them, right? Which in this case would be Dragon Ball FighterZ, right? Dragon Ball FighterZ is one of the top selling Dragon Ball games of all time. And it's a fighting game, right? People had to learn how to do combos, how to, traverse neutral, how to use assists properly. It was a game for a lot of people. It was their first introduction to the FGC, to the fighting game community, just in fighting games in general, right? And they learned, right? They willingly sat down, learned how to do it. So I think, especially with the title like Marvel, right? You have such a big IP, you have such hype characters. People know Iron Man, people know Doctor Doom now, people know Spider-Man. They're gonna see their favorite character doing cool stuff and they're gonna be like, all right, I want to do that, right? And maybe they don't do it as high level as other players, right? Per season fighting game players will always have the edge. Of course, that's always going to be the case, no matter how, like, what you implement into the game to make it easier for them. But most of them are okay with that. They just want to know that no matter what, at the end of the day, they can pick their favorite character and do whatever they want, right? They can learn how to be better at the game. They can learn how to improve their skills or how to just be familiar with certain mechanics over time. But as long as that like gripping factor is there and that sort of like wow feeling doesn't go away, people will find a way to love Tokon no matter what, whether you're a seasoned veteran or a new beginner.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I've seen people in chat saying it as well. It is really hard because, like I said, I don't think there's a right answer. And they pointed out a meta is going to come regardless. You can't stop people finding the strongest tech. You just can't do it. And trying to stop it from happening is kind of redundant. As fighting game players, I'd all say we try to break the rules within the limits that we're given. That's just that's what we do when we go into team mode. We try to take the piss. We try to do what the mechanics stop us from doing. We try to find a way around it. Like SSK was saying, we found a way to get neutral assist in combos. You said we couldn't do it, but we found a way to do it. But yeah, before we go into the next point, I wanted to mention one of the changes that I almost forgot until we spoke about it. We got the whiff auto combo.
Yeah.
That got removed, which is hilarious because I think a lot of that was DBFC players going, look, they didn't take out auto combo on whiff, auto correcting away. Can we please get in this game? The funny thing is that I feel personally, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, in Dragon Ball, the issue wasn't really the auto combo like chaining on whiff. Is that you got more damage on the second hit.
Yes.
So you got rewarded for the plan B. You got rewarded
Bizarre.
for your first poke missing and your second hit catching them. But in Tokon, they actually made the combat limit go really far up if you hit him with the second hit first. So they kind of remedied the problem of, oh, you're bad, you miss your first poke, but the second one hit, you just don't get a big combo. They had that in the game. But now they just said, you whiff, Godspeed and good luck. I hope you don't take 50% now, which I guess as a tryhard I'm okay with. But yeah, what do you guys think about the whole comboing? The canceling on auto combos. Let's go with Zeno going up again.
I think, me personally, right? A lot of people felt a certain way after getting hit with Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel's, auto combo every once in a while. It's like you got used to it, right? Obviously, you learned, but it just didn't feel good. Almost similar to the wall splitting issue and like the time it takes you out of the game, right? Knowing like, oh man, I missed a punish on this, or like I just got hit by auto combo. Now I just gotta sit here. I just gotta sit here and think about it, which it's debatable, right? You made the wrong decision. You got hit. It's your fault. But at the same time, you got hit by an auto combo, dog. So it doesn't feel great. But I understand, like, both sides of like, oh well, I mean it's auto combo, right? You should be able to fight against it, but at the same time, like depending on the person's auto combo, maybe their range is longer than other characters. It's not like universal, right? So there's always going to be that difference in characters. So me personally, I enjoy the change, but some others might feel a certain way about it.
Yeah, 100%. Blue Sky, how do you feel about the auto combo change?
So, like I said earlier, I compete in Grand Blue, and I will say one of the biggest problems with the game is this character known as 2B whiffing auto combos in that game. So seeing them change that, I was very, very delighted. And something else to add on to that, characters whiffing auto combos like that. Like Zeno had said, characters had different auto combos. I vividly remember losing in that second TNS because Ghost Rider, he's whiffing these like almost half screen normals, and I get clipped by an auto combo and I get sent to the wall. They got 2 assists from it, and I'm super down in the run, and it's like, I gotta do something now. So I'm definitely very happy about that change.
Yeah, that Ghost Rider one, I'm sure the second hit was like a Bardock, Android 16, where if you tried to jump, the chain would just drag you back down, you get a ground bounce, and you get
smoked.
Yeah, bad times. I never did it, I promised. I picked Ghost Rider for unique assist. I like Track and Flame Carpet. I promise that's the only thing I used it for.
Yes, I love it.
SSK, what did you think?
Sensational. I'm also a fellow 2B hater as well in Grand Blue. The fact that she can do that is really insane. I also really did play fighters as well, and I definitely remember the fact that not only could you just whiff the auto combo and still keep going, but the damage would be significantly higher if they get the second hit. It is really insane that that's happening. But I think obviously Tokan didn't really adopt that, but auto combos are one of the things in fighting games that people in general just kind of don't really feel too like crazy or like excited about. So I mean, like the fact that you have to actually hit it now is, I mean, it's pretty fair, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense to allow people to just, press a flurry of attacks and just watch as your opponent just does stuff. It's like, oh, okay, like fighting demons doesn't look right, but okay. But yeah, I'm cool with that change. I like it. Messing with it.
Yeah, cool. I mean, like you said at the start, I think every change, everyone's gone like, that's all I wanted. That's all I asked for. And now everyone seems to be having high hopes. Obviously, it's a bit different in terms of showing us what you've changed to how it feels when we play it. Only time will tell. All the people that have gone to our world tour, I was going to try and go. But yeah, everyone that's gone there, they can send us feedback if the game feels better. But for the last point... I wanted to talk about the communication between us, the FGC, casual players, people that filled in the form for the feedback to the devs. And I don't want to make it as simple as, is it good or is it bad? I think there's some pros and some cons. And I guess we can talk about which ones are more important to us. I'm very scared because I think fighting game players are very smart, but they're very not good at making games. Whether it comes to bias or kind of gatekeeping and shutting out casual players that don't have a gateway to get in, because I think you do need to leave a little bit of wriggle room for a casual to feel like there's room for progression. Because if they get smoked because they literally can't whiff, they press the button, you've backdash, and then they lose, they're like, well, this doesn't feel fun and I don't want to get good at it. That can happen when you only listen to top players all the time. So I'm scared that will happen. But so far, it seems like they've looked at a lot of aspects of the game to make it more fun rather than balanced. So at the moment, it's all cool. Let's start with SSK. What do you think about the whole conversation and communication with devs to players?
I think it's great. First of all, let's get this under wraps. Developers communicating with players, I think, is a very good thing. I think having that kind of communication literally makes or break a game, in my opinion. I mean, if we look at DNF Duel, a game that is literally, the life of that game was literally shut down because of no developer communication.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself, right? I think it's very good. I do understand though, right? You can't listen to everybody. I think Arc System works as who they are as a developer. And maybe Sony and Marvel and Disney might have some kind of like inputs on these kinds of things, maybe perhaps, but I think what I know from Arcs is that they are a developer that is very confident in their vision for what they want for the game. But I noticed that they also don't mind hearing feedback from people and saying, hey, does this change that you offered us applies and supports our vision of what we want the game to be, right? And I think that's really, I think that's why I think that's what they're going to adopt going forward. I don't think that a lot of people's feedback is going to be like really like answered, right? Like again, going as a Grand Blue player, right? A lot of people have complained about 6XL. The game that thing is still in there, right? They even made a shirt out of it. So it's safe to say that Arc System Works is a company that stands on their vision, but they also are open-minded to hearing people's thoughts and feedback. Specifically with Tokon, it seems, because it definitely seems like they want people to, give their own thoughts so that they can have any ideas as to what they could change. I think though that, and I'm not sure, this is the last point of the conversation, right? This is I will say, I think for me personally, a change that I think I would like to see them go for, that I feel like objectively works for them in terms of their vision, is actually adding in like another defensive option or tweaking crossovers a bit. Because I think that like if they do anything with that game, I'm fine with it. But I think the defensive options in that game has to be thought about, especially now considering that they have opened the game up a lot more in terms of like applying hard knockdowns now after wall breaks and adding in like neutral assists during combos you can cancel into. All of that stuff is fantastic. But with offense comes defense. And I think that like crossovers is a very weird thing because some people say they don't really mind it, but the weird thing about crossover is that like you have to use one assist meter to use it, and your opponent can just simply just crossover reflect very easily. By the way, I mean, like maybe people weren't doing it much in the beta, but that's something that could be mastered in terms of the timing. Because I was specifically looking at the TNS footage, and a lot of those players understood the timing. Basically, the moment that crossover text glows, you just press it.
Yeah,
it's very easy to do.
hard.
It's not really that difficult.
It's remind me of Vanish on Vanish.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think
Yeah.
the first couple of months, no one did it. They just got surprise Pikachu face. I got hit by the Vanish, and then now everyone automatically vanishes a Vanish automatically now. So yeah, I think crossover would be like that.
And then and on top of that, it's risky now because you got hit with the crossover. Now all of your assist gauge is gone.
Yeah.
So so it begs and there's no specific counterplay to that crossover reflect. So now it begs the thought of, well, what's the point of doing crossovers? Oh, well, when your opponent doesn't have assist gauge, that makes sense. But if you're looking at it from a higher level perspective, most high level players aren't going to put themselves in that situation where they can just cross over. If your opponent always has the potential to reflect your crossover, then I kind of feel like that like makes the mechanic not too strong as defensively, right? So I think that like they should tweak it in a sense, or like at least add a push block or something, right? Something that can give people going defensively, because I know some people were complaining about the hard knockdowns after the wall breaks. Not complaining, but I won't say it like that, but they had their own thoughts on that. And I would say that like that wouldn't be too much of an issue if the game had defensive options that was really good for players. And so I don't know. I think crossovers is like the only thing in Tokon that for a while I've been thinking long and hard about. I didn't have made a video on it, but I might have to soon.
Okay. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think crossovers are really interesting in round one when you've both only got one or two assembly bars. Once you've got three, like you said, it's basically a redundant defensive mechanic. You just don't because I would say on round two you've probably got at least two assembly bars, and if not, you've got enough meter to just use EX moves, so you don't have to use assist to basically maintain pressure. You don't need to use assist. You just use an EX move instead. But I do like what you like brought up in terms of if you was gonna say something to the devs, that's something you'd bring up. So I'm gonna throw a curveball at Blue Sky and Zeno and say, on top of what do you think about the communication between the players and the devs? What one thing, if you had direct contact with them to like mention, what would you also mention? Let's go with Blue Sky. Tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah. So I definitely am a fan of dev communication, but I think it's very good up to a point. Um, One of the reasons that I had stopped playing 2XKO was because the game was changing too quickly for, at least for someone like me. Frequent patches are all right, but they never sat long enough to feel good. I played Yasuo. That character changed every single patch, and it made sense. The character's very good, right? People were complaining, devs were listening, but it really got to a point where this is just getting annoying. Now I'm trying to play the game, improve, but there's too much going on, so I'm just gonna stop for now. But dev communication is good, but just I would say with I guess mediation, like not too much. Like I'm all right with how I guess Granblue's patch cycle is. It makes a good amount of sense to get about a patch every 3 4 months with a new character, or maybe like one interim patch that changes a few things that needed to be addressed. But as far as communication goes, I'm here for it. But like I said, just not too crazy.
Understandable.
But yeah.
What change would you, or what thing would you bring up to the devs if you had the opportunity to?
I mean, honestly, it is like SSK said, the defense in the game is very weak. Um, I guess yeah, playing the game, I felt I couldn't really get a tell on the frame data for I guess jabs. They felt about 5 6 frames, pretty standard for most fighting games, I'd say. But outside of that, there was, I mean, besides just like system mechanics, I don't think a character had like a real DP in the game. I think their Captain America and Iron Man had moves that resembled such, but they didn't actually have the invul on it, which was kind of weird. Which I was like, okay, that's all right, I guess. And I think they just have anti-air invul, which is cool. But I think just more defensive options with system mechanics would be great. Like Spider-Man has a parry, which I don't even think was frame one. But and Cap and Iron Man, like I said, have DP-esque moves, but aren't exactly DPs. But deep defense in the game currently is very weak, and I'd like to see that changed with like push blocks or like character specific mechanics or character specific actions to get out of scenarios.
Yeah, I hear that. I think I was surprised that just blocking didn't feel impactful. I know
Yeah.
that. I know it's a very weird mechanic, just blocking, because it's easy to tell people, like a casual or a pro player, how to do it, but it's very hard to implement and be like, oh, just block and you'll get out of this. It's one of those kind of just like do the right thing. It's like, well, duh, if I could just block every time, yeah, it'll be fine. But yeah, I think when you have a mechanic like that, I feel the reward needs to be big. And I felt like it wasn't big enough to just block. You get more meter, but I still feel like I was under pressure.
Okay. Yeah, that's how Granblue does it. Yeah, you just gain more meter for just blocking in that game. But I didn't even realize. I knew just blocking was in Tokon, but I didn't know if it did anything. But I guess yeah, meter probably was all it did at that point.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them do something with that. But sorry.
Yeah, because I remember when I saw like the original footage, when like I think when I saw Justin Wong's and Shin Kenso's footage when they dropped it, I like saw like them just defending, and like I thought it was like healing them, because I think like I think Strive just defend brings back health, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No,
No.
I don't think it does. It just changes pushback.
Change pushback, yeah.
Yeah.
It changes pushback, and I think like it does it affect frame data?
Not in Strive, I don't think.
No. Okay.
It only does that in like Blaze Blue or X.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's even then like pushback, right? It's a benefit, and I think that like if you're adding it in the game, it should do a lot more. Like even for Granblue, I feel like it should do more, honestly.
Yeah.
So
not autopiloting pressure is good.
Yeah.
It changes how people think about the game and how they want to approach offense. It's nice.
Yeah.
100%. Zeno, anything on your mind that you wanted to bring up in terms of what you talk to the devs, and what do you think about the whole communication between us players and them?
I think communication between devs and players is always going to be a good thing, like you guys have said. There is quite literally no negative to it to a certain degree, right? Because I have seen what it's like for developers to get that feedback constantly, right? Because I'm very heavy in the modded Marvel 3 stuff. So like everybody that I know very, very well. So I've always seen them get requests for like different changes or different like heroes and stuff like that. And it's always just been this like uphill battle, right? With the community of like, oh, we want this change, or this is dumb. I'm like, why does it do this? It shouldn't be like that. And people think certain feedback is like the right thing, but usually it's just out of malice. It's out of like hate because you hated being in that scenario, right? So it's a very fine line that you have to draw. You have to like weed out what sort of criticisms actually have like any backing to them, right? Like you can look at the data and sort of like be like, okay, well, this is happening repeatedly, right? Not just one person. So you kind of have to start taking that into account. And then there's like times like 100, right? Because it's across the entire cast, which is why it only being 20 at launch does kind of help them a bit. But it's going to be interesting once that roster starts to get bigger. And in terms of what I would want to talk about the devs with, or just sort of like discuss, right, if I could, would be just kind of like bringing up to them that they do have the philosophy of, oh, we don't want to try to repeat characters that were in previous fighting games. I do like that idea, right? Because it gives opportunity for newer characters or characters that haven't been in fighting games before a chance, right? Because now you have like Blade, you have Moon Knight, you have like Nico Minoru, you have all these characters in Marvel history that you can now introduce into the game because they're not going to be taken up by a returning character. But at the same time, I don't want my character to be compromised because of that single rule set, right? Like I don't want Amadeus Cho as my Hulk, right? I just want Hulk. I don't want it just because of like that sort of like quote unquote rule, like the unspoken rule that they have with design in mind to affect a character getting in, right? And there's give and take on that, right? Because if this game had decided to introduce Miles Morales as the Spider-Man of that universe, I'd have been fine with that. I love Miles. Miles is such a cool character, and that's like kind of like my bias, right? Obviously, like that literally shows that I wouldn't mind something like that happening. But at the same time, if I had the choice, I would want both Spidey and Miles to exist in this game, in this roster, because both of them are different enough to where you can make entire movesets and have it be distinct enough, and people will look at that and be like, okay, yeah, well, that's Miles, right? That's not just Spider-Man with another skin on, right? That's not just the same character, but you slapped on a new coat of paint, right? So I feel like that's kind of like the conversation I would want to have with the dev, because I just want this game to be cool. I just wanted to have as many characters as possible, but at the same time, if a character that I love is to show up, I want it to be like that specific version of the character, right?
Yeah, I feel that. I remember talking to Chrome about, I think what you said can happen, and it can be like detrimental to the newer version of the character. But when I think about Marvel 3, they had Wolverine and they put X-23 in the game, and people liked X-23. And it's very easy to be like, whoa, X-23 is just a version of Wolverine. But I think she had enough of an identity that people are like, you know what, they both can exist, even though they're similar. There's enough of a difference between like the old style, you know, rush down, scratch and sniff kind of character, and then having Laura doing her unblockable in incoming that you can't see. I don't know what comic they saw that in, where she goes invisible and dirt naps you to death, but it was different enough that it was cool. So yeah, I understand what you're saying about they want to bring the whole newer generation in terms of like the comic book versions of the characters, and to, you know, allow casuals to come in and be like, oh, this character's brand new. I'm not stepping into like shoes of an existing character. I think of, would they put Nico instead of Strange? And I hope they don't do that. I want Strange and Nico, even though they kind of are both the magic people. But yeah, I understand that. I wanted to add quickly something that I would ask the devs is to do something about the overheal. I just call it overheal. I don't know what the name is, but you know when you break, you either get a wall splat or break the wall, and you get the transition. You get health. You get gray health, and you can get that. You can get this if you're max HP. You get overheal. That's why I call it overheal. So I did a little video about it. I saw it in one of the TNS matches, and I noticed it in the match. It's recoverable gray health, and you get every time you break a wall. And I feel that it's a win more mechanic, which people don't even know that they're getting. And if you've got one health bar, it makes sense that you can gain health. I like that aspect. They haven't told it. I don't feel that they've made it known that this is in the game. But I don't like the fact that they could make this more interesting where, say I'm playing against Blue Sky, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need, I'm an ego trip. I don't need my other characters. I can just beat you with the first two, right? But there could be a point where Blue Sky's got all his team, and I'm like, okay, actually, I want to get a character just for the health. I think if you're behind with teammates, when you break the wall, you should get a bit more gray health. And you can play with that to be like, okay, I don't want to break the wall first because I want to get the more gray health because I need to break the wall after you. I think there might be a better sort of mind game in terms of stages and how to play the game, especially because they've now allowed you to not break the wall with super. It's very convoluted. I don't know what to tell you guys. I like Kingdom Hearts. I like stupid like 4D chess plays.
Oh yeah.
I love that stuff. But yeah, I want them to address the overheal because I think that's such an interesting mechanic that they put in the game and they've not really spoken about. I don't know. Did you guys know about it at all, or is there a real name for it? I just call it overheal, but is there?
I didn't notice that actually. I didn't peep that.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Oh, I feel a bit smarter now. Zeno, did you know?
I absolutely, for the amount of time that I have stared at every single trailer, every bit of footage that they've ever released for Tokon, my ass has not once looked at the health bar.
Right. I'll tell you what, you guys in the Discord, I'll show you my video. Please make a video on it because no one's going to see me do it. But if you guys put out a video, people will care and they might talk about it. But yeah, you can gain health from breaking the wall in this game.
Okay, I'm noticing it now after watching some TNS footage.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. It's weird because if you've got full health and you break the wall, you have it just there, but you can't see it. You only see it when you get a hit, and it makes your HP go down. It's really bad. And they don't talk about it. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's in the next version, but yeah, it was in the last two betas. It was definitely in the last two betas.
I'm looking at the footage right now of the new patch that they did. When Storm does break the wall and Wolverine gets hard knocked down, she still has the health starts to regen as soon as he gets up. So it does still exist in this patch.
Cool. Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's like their version of positive bonus kind of thing. You get like a character, you get the regen health, and now you get a hard knockdown.
It's a win more. It's just win more. Like I'm not a massive fan about combat mechanics, but I think you should have a fighting chance. Like second win mechanics. Give me a second wind. Like but when you're losing, you've got no frame data on your side. Your opponent's got more health because they're beating you up. It just feels a bit like, what am I meant to do? And like you guys have been saying, I've got no defensive options.
Yeah.
What do I do? Just wait until you've got no assembly bar and then I try and mash? Like, I don't know. But early days, that could change. That was it for all the topics. So I don't know if there's any like bonus material you guys want to jump in and chuck at the rest of us to talk about. Let me know.
Okay. One thing I would like to add onto the current topic. You said it only happens on wall break, right?
Wall break or wall splat.
Okay, wall break or wall splat. Okay, because I'm just making sure. Because I was checking some footage that I had from the X-Men stage. I just didn't see the gray health. Like go on. I think it was during like Ghost Rider like J. I don't know what the input is. I think it's 214 where you wall splat you. I didn't see the gray health go up there, so I'm like, huh. I was wondering
I
if there's
believe
like
it's
more benefit to wall break.
I believe I've been looking at this footage over right now too. From what I'm seeing from especially this new patch too, that gray health thing doesn't happen on wall splat, but it does happen on wall break. So if you're in the corner, you don't get that benefit for corner pressuring somebody, right? Which I guess is like the give and take, right? Because like, oh, you broke the wall, you get this reward. But if you're in the corner, right, you're gonna be able to repeatedly wall splat somebody. You know, we're gonna make it a little bit even and have it so that you don't gain that health constantly, right? Because you can like, especially in the previous betas, you can wall splat quite a bit, especially with Spider-Man. So
and they have
could
the X-Men
imagine
stage too. Yeah.
So I'd imagine that would have been a problem that would have been noticed super quickly too if it was especially on wall splatting, because as soon as you see Spider-Man do those kicks, you would have just seen that health bar crank up with gray health. So I think they kind of knew what they were doing, but at the same time, they might have not thought about everything.
Yeah, that's interesting because the video I just posted in Discord, have a look at it when you have a chance. It was on the X Mansion. That's when I noticed it. Yeah, if they've changed it that wall splat doesn't give it to you, but wall break does, that does make a bit more sense, because I think kind of how it evolved into with Strive, slump is really strong. I don't know if you can tech roll from a slump, but if you can't, getting slumped could be very detrimental. Like that could be a lot of pain. So yeah, X Mansion stocks are gonna go super high because you're just gonna you're just gonna flowchart someone.
Yeah, because the slump was, as far as I'm concerned, the only situation in the game where you could get a hard knockdown.
Right.
Yeah.
And like people could just like kind of like loop kind of like some pressure, some high-low stuff, right? Off of that guy. That's why it was so strong.
Yep. You know when you mentioned about Slash did that to me. I uploaded it. He did the wall splat with Spider-Man super high up. He just raw tagged into Doom, did the lasers, and then he did Slayer dash through left or right. And there's nothing I can do.
That was huge. Like Doom's dash into like the Kamala anti assist left, right. Yeah. That was really strong.
Nothing could help me. There's no mechanic in the game that could help me block an unseeable left right with a laser off the top of my head. It is strange because I hear a lot of people talking about, oh, what are we going to do with the stages? Are we going to ban stages? I've been playing a lot of real quick tangent. I've been playing a lot of My Hero Academia and playing in I love all tag games. I don't discriminate. If there's a tag mechanic, I'll play it. But it's the first arena game I played, and they are like, no, we do not play on this stage. If it's not flat, it's whack. That's just apparently that's the rule. If it's not flat, it's whack. They don't pick any stages with any terrain or anything. And a lot of people are talking about the stages in Tokon and like what are we gonna do with X Mansion. And to me, it's just like what they do in Tekken. You random, and I guess loser picks.
So from what I heard from what people played at like the Evo build, when they first dropped the first kind of like offline play for the game, players were actually given the option before character select screen to actually like pick the part of the stage they wanted to be on. So I think what's gonna happen for like competitive play is that people are going to like if you lose, you might have the option to want to be maybe in the corner, like of like you know, if you maybe I guess that's kind of how they want to do it. So that should be interesting. My other thought was maybe they kind of would do like the Smash thing where they just kind of make Omega versions of stages, in terms of like Savage Land might have a stage where like it's just one part, right? It depends on how they want to go with that. I also, like I said, you know, before they had the hard knockdown change, I thought the stage thing was going to be counter pick heavy, because it seemed that like stages like Savage Land favored a lot more zoner heavy teams, because every time you broke the wall, you reset to neutral. So it was like zoner players love neutral, and you know, it's like X Mansion was more of like a, hey, you play like a really rush down team, you could easily get to the corner. So I think I don't know. I think they really want to have like a very like counter pick heavy thing with that stage, because like I said before, the character select screen, you can actually pick which part of the stage you want to be on. So I don't know.
I never noticed that.
They actually because
right? It wasn't in the offline version. I guess it wasn't in the CPU battles in this.
Yeah, it wasn't in the CPU battle. Yeah, it wasn't in the I don't think it was in the CPU battles, and I don't know how they're going to implement that for online, like for ranked and stuff like that. But I know people at Evo were saying that, because that was like the actual place where you could do the 1-player versus 2-player.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how that's going to be in tournaments. Not to
telling
mention
you.
the rules that still have in our World Tour.
These guys are slick. There was a change they did, and I was super mad about it. From the first beta to the second one, and I don't know if anyone mentioned it. So I play Star-Lord because I think he has the best assist. He's got Stalking Flare, so you get the flame gun, and then his assist is Stalking Flare. I think it's broken. I don't think it's okay.
Not good.
Yeah, I think it's mad good, but I'm not a good enough player for it to be put on the radar. So I was chilling. But something they changed from the first beta to the second one is the round start, you can't tag anymore. So you used to be able to, with Star-Lord, you also used to be able to change your ammo in round start. So I could flame gun and then tag out Star-Lord. They got rid of both. You can't change your gun ammo and you can't swap your character at round start. Oh, sorry, no, you can do that. You can change your character at round start, but you can't ammo change. And I was like, oh, you clearly haven't been watching me play. So why did you there must be gamers in the office, and I know there's one or two, but there has to be gamers in the office to know that that's broken. And they got rid of it. I was so tight, so mad.
I mean, Pachi is technically like a Guilty Gear player. A lot of those guys are basically like FGC guys, so they got to be knowing what's going on.
So mad.
They know the broken stuff.
Star-Lord was definitely the best character in Beta 1. Easily the best character Beta 1.
Yeah.
Like him or Miss Marvel, top two. Easily.
Yeah.
And I feel it was because of Ice Gun. That's why I thought no
Ice
one's
Gun
looking
was
at flame.
insane.
Yeah, Ice Gun.
That's the first thing I noticed in Beta 2. I'm like, let me see if the Star-Lord setup still works. They broke out of ice immediately. It's like you only have enough time for like double super, and that's really it.
Mm-hmm. I was rubbing my hands because like I didn't care about the Ice Gun. Just don't touch flame. Please don't touch flame.
Fire was broken. It just sat there.
Flame is so not okay. Flame is like I played SJ for GR. I literally jump and call flame. There's just nothing you can do. There's nothing you.
Yeah, there was also
it comes out Vegeta angle when you jump and do it. It's diagonal.
There was also like I think like you could there was like some setup or something, I think, where like you could bounce like the flame off the grenade or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
really?
I don't know about
there was like some crazy stuff you could do with like a grenade, I think. Like you could toss the grenade in the air, diagonal like the fireball, and it would like go up and you hit the grenade. It was like some crazy stuff you could do with Star-Lord.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's super techie. The grenade on whiff, I'm telling you, that's where the silliness comes in.
Dude, EX grenade is absurd. It having a pull-in is something I didn't notice until like a little while later, till I like looked over footage again.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
I used to always like do like I used to always like set up like the Doom laser assist, toss the grenade, have them pull into the laser, and they would just get launched in there.
What just happened?
What's just happened? Just a grenade. I'm like a cable player in Marvel 2, so it's like that kind of thing is like so cool to me. I love like grenade stuff.
Yeah, I think the grenade and Storm with the wind, the whole like Rachel Alucard sort of thing going on, where they can mix you without block stun. That's what I'm scared of. Yeah. I'm hella scared of. Cool. I need block stun to prepare my body. If there's no block stun and I have to guess left right, like grenade into neutral jump is going to be a mix.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it. I said to myself, I'm playing Iron Man, I'm just flying. Especially with how the assists work now. I'm a flying cool flame carpet. You deal with it. I'm not trying to be in the range of danger. So
danger is another thing, because like her unique assist like is probably gonna be like the Kid Buu stuff, where she does like the bombs and she just shoots it and it's gonna go all like diagonally everywhere. Oh my god. Yeah.
The Aegis vibes I got when I saw that character.
Yeah.
I was like,
jump.
There was no overhead until she came in the game. I was like, there's no mix. Like everything's reactable. And then I saw her do the Aegis fly forward in like the Morrigan style low overhead. I was like, yeah, we're all getting cooked now. Yes. Yeah. Good though. I feel personally the game needed mix. I think other than the unblockable, a lot of the game was reactable. They have changed it a bit with obviously the tags being quicker now as well. So I don't know. I have to feel it. And then I saw Wolverine with the wrecker pressure. Like he can just go low, mid, low, or low overhead, low. my kind of character with armor as well. What a belligerent beast he's gonna be. I can't wait.
Yeah, because honestly, a lot of the game, like aside from Storm, I guess was like basically just strike throw. To be honest, like, so it's good to see that they added a lot more like mixed potential now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I guess that is it. I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. Again, much appreciated. This was probably went better than I thought it would. Getting all different perspectives, players, content creators, Marvel fans. I really think it's important to hear perspective from everyone.
Yeah,
you can sometimes get a bit too narrow vision to be like how to make the most balanced game. And to be fair, normally the most balanced games aren't played because it lacks fun sometimes. It lacks fun.
Yep.
When everyone's Ryu, no one's unique, unfortunately. But yeah, this has gone down super well. I will be chucking this up on YouTube in a couple of weeks. But hopefully everyone who's here can, use parts of this and put up on their channel. And that way we can kind of get people to, follow each other. Speaking of following, we'll start from Zeno at the bottom. Let us know where people can catch you, social media stuff, what you've been up to, what you've got planned in the future as well.
You guys can find me over on Twitter at Zeno_TG or on Twitch and on TikTok, especially with just VT instead. I do a lot of Tokon stuff. Anytime Tokon news happens, I am trying to be one of the first people that lets others know. For some reason, my Twitter has just become that now, where people sometimes peep in. They're like, all right, this new thing for Tokon happened. That's cool. It's usually about Spider-Man too, because I love Spider-Man. So anything Marvel related, anything Marvel Rivals, or just fiction related, if you fuck with that, come take a visit.
Cool. And Blue Sky Guy, where can people catch you?
Yeah, so I stream on Twitch, just Blue Sky Guy BSG, and you'll find me a lot on Twitter. Also, same name, Blue Sky Guy BSG, and I do travel a lot because I do compete. I'll be at Texas Showdown and Slashback these next few months, so you can catch me there.
You'll be playing Grand Blue, right?
Yep, Grand Blue.
Cool. I'll tune into that. I like a bit of Grand Blue.
Sure.
I play Soris, so people don't like me, but shout out to when Skill plays, it gets me hype.
That's my guy. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's constructed uniquely. That guy is different. I love watching him play. SSK, my guy, and where can people find you at, my dude?
On Twitter, you can find me at DSSK_1. That's THE, DSSK_1. And on YouTube, it is simply I'm sorry, no, I'm tweaking. DSSK_1 is my YouTube, but DSSK_ is my Twitter. You can find me there. Twitter, I talk about everything, not just Tokon. And Tokon for YouTube is mostly what I do on there. I do a lot of like news talks, roster talks, analysis videos on match analysis. I've done a lot of analysis on TNS games, matches. I recently went to Frosty Frostings to do. I asked 100 Marvel fans who would they want to see in the roster. I've done a lot of Tokon content for the past basically 6 months now. So yeah, check me out.
Of course, I will be putting all the social links in the comments below on the YouTube VOD. But like I said, before it comes up on my YouTube, it will be on these guys' YouTube. Bits and parts of the podcast will be there. So if you want to catch it early, check these guys out. And yeah, I mean, that is it. It went way better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be hiccups. I thought it was going to be scuffed audio. I thought someone was going to start throwing out slurs or something on a crazy one. But it's been super good. Everyone's been chill. I feel we haven't like stepped on each other's toes. We've all come with different points. So yeah, hopefully we can do this again. And the plan is the next time there will be like a call-in show part. So people in the chat can chime in and let us know what they think. But yeah, probably the next time I do that, it would definitely be after Arc World Tour. And I'm pretty sure Arc World Tour, they're going to announce something in terms of probably characters, maybe a couple of stages. I'm not sure. But yeah, hopefully I can get you guys back on again and the moons align and we can all jump on in one day. That would be super sick. But yeah, until then, that is it from the podcast, and I guess we'll catch you guys later.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.